Hi my angels and devils, Amanda Christina here with Balloonicorn. I cannot see this very well. I've struggled to get this in a way where you can actually see him, so I've got him sitting on a box of ribbons and half-finished bows and chokers and things. I've got my gesso now. I have a brand new tub of gesso. However, because I have not been doing a lot of arty things, we're going to finish up this gesso. What I did to start with was just add a little water into this. The reason I added water to it is because it was super thick. So what I'm going to start doing is I've got this this is just a Faber-Castell brush that comes with the, what do you call them? The gelatos, which are a type of sort of, and I'm just literally going to, and the reason I picked this is because I don't care if I ruin it. It's a cheap ass brush. It doesn't hold any special place in my stash. I have a few of them. They may as well get used and destroyed because once they're done, and as you can see, I am literally just trying to dab the paint into all the nooks and crannies, which is, as you can see, is why it doesn't matter. And now this Prima gesso is going on beautifully. Look, it really is coating a lot better than I thought it would. I wasn't sure. Now, as I said, it is going to take a few coats. This isn't just an automatic, okay, I gessoed, now it's done. It's going to take several coats of gesso. I'm not going to show you every coat. It feels redundant to do that. I feel like other people put up several coats of gesso and fast forward through their videos, so I don't feel like you need me to actively do that. I have yet to decide how I'm going to do this, whether what I'm going to do, and so you can start to see that even though you've still got the colour, sorry, I'm shouting. I don't know why I'm shouting. Because it's very windy here. Even though you've got the colour starting to disappear, and it does look good muted, you can sort of start to see where this is going to go. And the reason I picked this brush also is to try and get into all these little cracks and crevices. There's a bit of pink. Something's losing pink in this. Let me grab a piece of paper towel and dab off my brush. I don't know where this pink is coming from, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter at this stage. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that pale pink or the pink of the brush, but yeah, something is definitely giving off a pinkishness. That's okay because it probably is the metal. And it's okay to paint over his eyes because we put protection on them. This is just a very rough first coat, so it's not going to be perfect. It's designed to give the rest of the gesso something to adhere to. So as you build up the layers, this is like the layer it all sticks to. This is a good plastic to have done this on because it's not a smooth texture. Like, this is going to be harder to do, these bits, because they are a smooth texture, whereas the textured bits, and they often tell you when you are doing things like this, I'm yelling again, sorry, is that what you should do is basically, hang on, I'm going to have to turn him, if I turn him that way, can you still see what I'm doing? So I can see what I'm doing as well. It's very hard. But yeah, basically I'm going to go over the whole thing and start getting as many of the bits with a little bit of gesso at least. When I'm not dropping the brush, having a bit of a wonky day today, I'll be honest. My arthritis has flared up today and it's not pretty. I had to go and bring the bins in from outside because they were blowing away and it hurt like a son of a bitch. But you know what? That's part of life, and that is part of what it's like to have early onset osteoarthritis in both hips. and some other places. So, you know, you do what you can. And it was only because it's so windy and the bins were blowing away that I even bothered to go and rescue the bins. Normally I would just leave it until I was having a better day. Okay, the other thing is, as you can tell, this brush is definitely not that good because it's shedding fibres into it. You want to make sure you get those fibres. Now, every time you turn this around, you're going to see a different spot you missed. It's just going to be like that for quite some time. It's okay to not get everything the first coat round. This is quite a lengthy process. This is not, if you're not someone who has patience, don't do a project like this, because it's not an overnight project. It is not something that you can put together in 5 minutes. I'm going to have to let this coat of gesso dry, and over the next week, every day I will be putting on a new coat of gesso. So as I said, I didn't want to show you every coat. It seemed redundant and it seemed kind of silly. Most people know how to paint something. It's a pretty basic skill we all pick up in school. I am literally just sort of pushing this into all the... And I'm going to need to pull out some smaller brushes too to get things like between the roses and... Well, and then we go and knock a rose off. So... Where's my glue? So that's the other thing to be aware of, is that sometimes things are gonna fall off. Not everything goes perfectly. And that's okay. But while that rose has fallen off, I'm going to leave that off for now. I'll come back to that and add it back on. But what I will do is take the opportunity to paint where the rose goes, so that when I pop it back, once that is dry, it'll be something else that I can definitely... Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to do this in a way. I am left-handed, which I probably should have set my camera up at a different angle. I think I am losing all the shape of one of the roses. Hang on. There we go. Just pull that one back a bit. There we go. And what you can do is with the gesso is it gives you the opportunity for anything that has like paper or manipulatable, like, so even the aluminium roses, they are things that you can kind of... Yeah, I can see one of the aluminium roses definitely lost some of its colour. So I'm just going to be sitting here probably for a good while, so I may not record all of this, just because even the first layer is something that takes a lot of time. Yeah, because every time I look, I'm finding a spot I haven't even got the first layer of gesso on. So it's quite an involved piece of work. This really is an art form. Like, people who customize dolls and do things like that, sometimes they only do a very small amount of work, but sometimes they have to do a lot of work. This is a lot of work, but the payoff will be amazing. It really will be a great payoff, because it'll look really pretty. Or not necessarily pretty, but it'll look kind of steampunk, I guess kind of Victorian steampunk in a way, in that there's so much floral and stuff as well. Like, you can even see on that one that as part of it dries, it builds up to a nicer finish. And you don't want to lose all your texture of all your objects either. That's really important too. And the reason that is important is because when you come back, once it's all white or black or whatever colour you wanted as your base colour, once it is all those colours, what happens is then you go through and you can either add colour back, you can choose a single colour to mist certain sections. It's a really cool mixed media technique, and I really love it. There's a lot of, if you look for Prima Marketing or Live with Prima on YouTube, they are incredible. They do a lot of really great mixed media stuff, and basically that is sort of the gist of where I learnt roughly how to do this sort of thing. But I mostly don't watch other people's videos for tutorials unless it's something specifically I want to learn. I'll be honest about that. I tend to just fly by the seat of my pants and learn by myself. I have done something similar to this once before. It was a cover of a notebook for a friend of mine who is a poet in Melbourne. Look up Elizabeth Lish Skeck, and her work is amazing. Her book is Breath, if you'd like to read it or have a look for it. She is a really wonderful artist in her own right, not just a poet. And I did her a really gorgeous notebook that was themed with different charms, like different things that had to do with her and her life, because she has led the most incredibly amazing life. And I could listen to her stories for hours on end. In fact, I often sit on Facebook and just let her type away at me and just throw in the odd comment here and there, because she really has led the most fascinating life, and it's really wonderful to listen to that. I love hearing people's stories about their lives. I love hearing what makes them them, and I really love that about Lish, is that she's so open and she so willingly shares all that makes her this unique, amazing woman. And she really is just someone that you should, if you can, have a look for. Yeah, I'll leave it there on Lish, because she might get mad at me for. Oh, I doubt it. But I don't want to upset anyone by talking about them on my channel if they don't want to be talked about. I don't even know how long this is. See, this is already at 11 minutes. So I think we're just going to leave it at half of this getting done. I've just knocked. Now, if bits come off, as I said, they can be stuck back on or left off. It really doesn't matter. I mean, in the case of that, it does, because that is a thing. And as I said, I wasn't too fussed on using the paper roses, and I can kind of understand why, just looking at this, why I wouldn't necessarily be fussed on the paper roses. They are a lot harder to use than, say, the resin or the aluminium. And that's understandable. This is going to look basically like a hot mess. And yes, it is definitely the pink aluminium roses that are giving off their colour. I've never had that issue before, so I will have to make sure the next time I use aluminium roses on a project, I use the blues and not the pinks, because it shouldn't matter. Once this first coat of gesso is really well and truly dry, it truly should not matter. So I haven't even gotten one half of him done yet. I'm just gonna I have Mary Amber songs in my head. There's another person that, if you can, you should look up. She does really awesome nerdy music, and she does Doctor Who music. She has a whole album dedicated to Doctor Who, and that's something really cool, especially because there is so much wizard rock and awesome other sort of nerdy music out there that it's okay. So yeah, we're at 13 minutes, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna finish this, but I'm not gonna keep filming because it's just gonna take too long. But that's where we got to. That's the start. That process is going to go all the way around, and then each time it dries, it'll be built up another layer, until it's basically all white. And then we get to do some other fun stuff. Okay, I'll talk to you soon, my angels and devils. If you are enjoying the Balloonicorn series, make sure you click that like button. If you're a new person here and you would like to subscribe to my channel to see more arty stuff, I do unboxings, I talk about stuff, and in general have a very mixed bag of a channel, please click that red subscribe button. It really would mean the world to me. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye!